All right, this tutorial is on Triang Mukhaikapada Paschimottanasana. It's a mouthful always. So it's this pose where we have one leg bent back, one leg straight, and then we go into a forward bend. All right, you might remember it from the Ashtanga Primary Series. It's one of the first seated postures that you do, not the first, but just in that first little bit. And some of my vinyasa sequences, we work on this too. So if just bringing your leg back feels like you're tipping over to the side, is really rolling over, or if your knee is starting to pull or your hips really pinching, then you can sit on a block here, right? That's going to give you height so the knee is not torqued at quite an angle and a bit more space in your hip in the front. So you can use a cork brick or you can use a smaller brick or even a pillow if you're at home. Now, the brick goes underneath the sit bone of the straight leg. So you can prop it up on that sit bone. Okay, so say my right leg is straight, my left leg's coming back. I'm sitting only on the block on my right sit bone. And you grab your calf with your thumb and your palm, roll it out to the side, and you can help your thigh bone out, roll it out to the side just so there's more space in that hip crease, and then have the top of the foot on the floor. And you're not sitting on your heel there, it's just tucked into the side of the hip. The toes are spread to hold the foot down to the floor. And that's an important thing to do, especially if you feel like you're falling over to the side, is to use this bent leg to pull you back to the center. Okay, so you want to feel the inner thighs drawing to the center. The straight leg thigh, it has an internal rotation. So if you look at your straight leg, you want to connect your big toe mound to your inner thigh engaging, and then turning that in so your kneecap and your toes are facing upwards. And the outer hips also engage your glute to help with that rotation inwards and that stabilization, as well as your quadriceps. This leg, if your foot hurts like that, the top of the ankle, I went over this in another posture tutorial, the Vajrasana one, where we do the same bend back with the leg. If this hurts your ankle, the ankle's not quite open enough to draw back in a straight line from your shin, then you can, some people like to do this. I mean, it's not that ideal, but if you're in pain the other way, then you can modify and just keep your foot onto the mat. All right, just make sure that if you're turning your ankle like this, your foot like that, that your knee feels fine. If your knee feels fine, you're okay. Good, so not sitting on the heel, just beside you. When you fold forward, the sit bones are, we try to ground them. We lift out of the waist, and then try not to arch your lower back too much because then you're going to squish your hips together in the front. We want to lift out of the waist, draw lower belly in. So Uddiyana Bandha, there's space in the hip creases. And you can try putting your hands here, pressing your hip creases back and then going forward. So it's like you're rolling over your hands, out of your hip bone, through the waist, through the belly, then folding. And just see where you get to, keeping your spine straight. Now, when you start to fold forward, keep this right leg active, as I said, the inner thigh working, and you might need to micro bend your knee if you're sat on a block. All right, so the knee doesn't feel like it's pushing backwards, but the leg is strong and you know that that knee is secure. And then you proceed going forward, straight spine, rolling over top of the hands. We're aiming the chest, center of the chest, the sternum or the breastbone right in the center towards our shin bone. So you can look that direction and kind of make your way over there, keeping a straight spine. So if you're really rounded, trying to grab your foot, Just lift your head. Grabbing your foot and your leg is not the goal, nor neither is getting your head to your shins. We want to again go through a straight spine forward. Once you're forward, if you're tipping over, you can keep your hands on the floor for stability. Try to stabilize your posture on the floor before you proceed, and that's that's a tip for most postures too, or basically all of them. You want to stabilize your connection to the floor and see what you can do from there. So if you're falling over to the right, as a lot of people do, you can bring your right hand, the straight leg's the right one, bring your right hand to the side and help press yourself back center, and then start to make your way forward. Some people like to have their hands back here just to accentuate the shoulders drawing back and the chest center leading and feeling the sides of the neck lengthen. Now, head does not go back nor drop forward. Keep the back of your neck straight. Think about your tailbone all the way to the back of your neck connecting into your skull as a straight line. Supported and lengthening. So either one hand or both hands eventually grabbing your foot or your leg. And the full pose, when you're moving in Ashtanga, because we move quite quickly in the sequence, you have one breath to get into the posture essentially and 5 breaths there. You want to have a solid understanding of where the direction of the posture is going, and then just feel your body on the day that you're practicing, feel your breath and just see what you can do that day. So we don't strive to do the full expression if it doesn't feel right. We just see how the legs feel, how the knees feel, and then where we can go from there without causing pain. Okay, so the hip can be held, go forward, eventually down to your shin, and eventually once you're all the way down, if you're there ever, lift your elbows off the floor and grab your leg that's straight is the wrist that you hold, and the other hand with the bent leg, that same arm is going to hold that wrist and fold forward. And we're trying to get that right hip, if that's the bent leg, that right one down to the floor. Then reach forward, lengthening through the waist. Bend is in. All right, so let me know if that's helpful, and I hope you enjoy that little tutorial. Thank you.